Hey everybody, on this episode of Gross Anatomy, we discuss pizza. What's the best pizza? What kind of pizza you like? I'm a pizza snob, and we had on Pizza Girl talking about her company and what's the best pizza.
Here live, Dr. Cohen with Gross Anatomy Podcast,
where we explore the sights, smells, and sounds of medicine, how it relates to movies, TV, books, pop culture, podcasts, and the world around us. And I am Dr. Jason Cohen.
And I'm Lauren Taylor. And today we have a very special guest. We're very excited that she could join us. You might know her as Pizza Girl. She's the CEO of Pizza Girl, Caroline D'Amore. So thank you. I'm an Italian. I'm excited to have another Italian on the show.
Wow, this is our Italian episode, eh?
Yeah. I should have kept my Italian last name. It was originally Pulcinelli, but then I took my husband's name. So
don't do it.
I know.
Never take your husband's name.
Wait, how do you pronounce your last name?
D'Amore.
That's D'Amore. Very nice. Very nice. So, I'm just going to jump right into the. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for saying okay, for agreeing to be on the podcast. We're excited and honored, and I don't recognize you though, and I'm sure people are saying this to you. You're the pink-haired woman, girl, whatever you call yourself, right? You're the pink. So you're not pink-haired anymore, I notice.
I know. It's sad for a lot of people out there. Everybody but me. No, it's it just pink hair happened by accident. I've had every color hair you can imagine. Especially through my DJ years. And then I had pink hair when I was on the Gordon Ramsay show as I was launching my brand Pizza Girl. And then it just stuck. Everything became pink. The brand became very pink. My business partners refused to let me change my hair. I had pink hair for a decade, you guys. And that's rough on your head, And then I got pregnant, thank goodness. And I couldn't bleach my hair anymore, and nobody was going to tell me to do that while I was pregnant. And I'm just really excited because now I was able to grow my hair back out amazingly, and it's thick and it's luscious, and my Italian hair, I used to have amazing hair. You Google me from back in the day, you're like, oh, she was Italian with dark hair and whatever, and then I messed it all up, and now I can walk through the streets and people aren't honking at me on the way to school because they don't recognize me.
Nice. So you're done with the pink. It's over. It's done. You're putting it behind you.
I think so. Yeah. I think I'm in such a different place in life where I don't need the recognition. I think I needed the recognition at a certain point in my life. And I liked that people knew it was me when I'd walk into wherever. And I think now I'm just in such a happy, complete, content place in life. It's so weird that my hair has so much meaning, but it does. I'm happy to blend in now.
That's great. And it definitely probably was a great marketing tool for you, right?
Totally. And all of our marketing still has this pink-haired woman on it. So it's kind of great because I'm I was just left a meeting with a whole boardroom of people, and they're looking at the thing and they think I'm just one of my employees or something. It's hilarious. They're like, who's that woman? And I'm like, that's she's amazing. And it's great because now she's her own character, I don't know. I think eventually she'll be some sort of cartoon character that isn't me, that is this pink-haired pizza girl,
I could see that being a great illustration, and it looks great on your website because you're right, the colors, the branding. But yeah, I'm glad you got your hair back.
I'm so glad I got my hair back. Yeah, it was toxic, and I'm in this weird hippie healthy phase. So
nice, hippie and healthy. That's good stuff. Are you from Los Angeles originally?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. So I joke around that I'm originally from New York, not Italian, but my dad thought he was Italian, so I kind of could bond with the both of you a little bit.
Amazing.
And I was a typical New Yorker, but I've lived here now 26 years, and I say that I've become that weird LA guy, which also is kind of like the hippie, even though I'm not really hippie, but I'm embracing all of that LA stuff.
You're crunchy? Are you crunchy?
I I don't know, Lauren, am I crunchy?
I'm not cool enough to know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay, crunchy is just more like organic and, clean ingredients and making your own baby food and doing things more like off the grid, not really listening to everything, everybody says, and kind of just being healthy.
I
I
would
think
say,
maybe I'm a crunch wannabe, maybe.
Yeah.
no, I would say he's crunchy. He's very plant-based. He cares a lot about what he eats. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. But, even though I'm plant-based, it's a good, Lauren, normally you're the one who has the good segues and tie-ins, but that led me to a great time. So over the last 10 years or so, I've tried to strive to be plant-based, but one of my weaknesses is pizza. Like especially as a New Yorker, pizza's my thing. And so we got the pizza girl here, eh?
Yeah, I mean, pizza is not healthy. I mean, you go to Italy and you're eating pizza and you're, healthy, tall and skinny and running around, happy and eating carbs all day long. It's just the crap that we put in our food here is really, really sad. So, Pizza Girl is a pizza that I can eat every day. Yeah, literally every day.
Do you eat it every day?
I do, pretty much.
No, you don't.
The only time I didn't, and I didn't admit it at the time, was when I was pregnant because I was nauseous and there was nothing I was going to eat that was cooked or hot or this anything. But I was like, oh God, I can't eat it right now. This is insane. But I basically eat pizza. I probably had more pizza than anybody on the planet because I've been eating it since I was a kid. And now my kids, we all eat it all day long, every day. I'm testing out all the product. I'm making sure everybody, it's like, yeah.
I think I
Wow.
could eat probably your pizza every day because you don't add sugars. You do all these clean ingredients. So it's very different. But I kind of want to go back first a little bit to like I picture you being a little girl. And I read that you like went with your dad to movie sets to help do catering, to do things like that. So your parents had a pizza shop where in Malibu, is that right? The
So
pizza
my
connection?
dad, yeah. So my dad started with Demore's Pizza, and he had a couple in the Valley, and then he slowly moved it over to Malibu, Brentwood, Westwood. He had them all over at a certain point. It was very popular in, I would say, like the 90s and early 2000s. But I grew up in the pizza shops. You're absolutely right about that. I wore these horribly embarrassing shirts that said Pizza Kid. My mom passed away when I was 5. So my dad was a single dad of 4 little girls, and we had to go
Wow.
everywhere with him. We had some babysitters from time to time, but never like, nannies and things like that. So we were in the pizza truck. We were, making pizzas. We were on catering movie sets all over. All of our first jobs were working the register, making the pizza boxes, doing deliveries, like you name it. It was pizza until I was a teenager. And then I was like, I want nothing to do with pizza. I'm too cool. Don't call me the pizza girl. Went through that journey. And then,
Did you grow up in the Valley or in Malibu?
so started in the Valley. And then 7th grade moved to Malibu and had been there until I dropped out of high school and just went around the world by myself.
That's an experience. I heard that you modeled a lot, right? Like you were a runway model. So were you discovered, like literally?
So literally, I was in a sushi restaurant and a woman came up to me and she was like, do you want to model? And I was like, well, can I make enough money to get the F out of my house? And she was basically like, yep. And then I added in the DJing. I started DJing at a very young age. And I made enough money to get my own apartment and kind of do my own thing. And I did. And yeah, I mean, DJing, I ended up getting 2 record deals. So the modeling was fun. It was light. It led to like some movies and things like that I did. It was great. But
What movies? Anything we would have heard of, or?
Well, I told you I'm a serial entrepreneur, so whatever I do, something remotely does well. But it was called Sorority Row. It was like a really fun, campy horror film. It went to theaters, Summit Pictures, and what's actually really funny is that it's all of a sudden. I don't know what's with the kids these days, but they're loving anything throwback to that early 2000s era. And all of a sudden now Lionsgate wants to re-release it, and like they're having all these meetings about us like maybe even doing a sequel, which is hilarious because
Wow.
we're way older. But yeah, but it's a funny slasher, not funny, but it's a slasher movie, but very like a Scream,
Yeah. Did you get killed in it?
I actually survive, which is why I would be in the sequel. So yeah.
Wow, nice. So that's
Mhm.
that's pretty amazing that you survived the horror film.
I know. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. You actually even wonder if I'm the killer for a little while. So,
Ooh. Lauren and I hate horror films.
oh my God, I love them.
We hate them.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if we could handle it. I'm like, Scream, I can maybe handle it. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
Did
if
you
it's
ever
campy.
see Scream?
Yeah, I saw Scream.
Yeah.
I saw like the first maybe two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some like really aggressive deaths in this. But it's
My
also so
kids,
campy and silly.
I have 3 girls. My kids asked me the other day, Dad, why do you not like scary movies? And I said, I don't like to be scared. I don't. That's about it.
My husband laughs because he sends me memes. He's like, he sent me one the other day of like how like the hardworking, mom entrepreneur that loves to relax to like horror documentaries or whatever it is. I don't know. I've always liked horror films since I was little, and um, you know, got to know Eli Roth, and I'm a huge fan of his, and um, it was really fun to make one because you can kind of just see how it's all done, and I felt so bad for one of the stunt girls because they really get hurt, like they really
Yeah.
get hurt. And she like ended up in the hospital. But like I was in a house and it was lit on fire. The whole house is on fire. And like, this was before crazy CGI everything where that even looked good. So the whole house was on fire. And
Yeah.
they had to put this goo all over my body in parts that I won't even tell you, but I mean all my body, every like crevice. And it was cold and it was freezing, and we shot it in Pittsburgh, and I'm half naked, of course, because you have to be, and running around like, Dad, kill me, that type of stuff. So it was fun. I had a blast. It was a very LA moment of, growing up here.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, I hope you're in the second one, so you would consider it.
Oh, for sure, because it was all my friends and we all laugh about it. We're all on like the emails and we're like, really? Are we really going to go do this again? Like however many years later? You know who was in it, which I was so grateful I got to work with her, was Carrie Fisher.
Oh, wow. Princess Leia.
Yeah, Princess Leia. She played our house mother, and she's a badass in it. And there's a photo of her actually with like a shotgun and like me like looking back, and she's awesome, and it was really great to get to know her. So rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
she
cool.
seems like a badass, but I mean, I don't know anybody that's met her, so it's good to hear confirmation.
She's awesome.
And then from that you decided to start cooking yourself or
No, that was a long journey before then. I was DJing. Next was DJing. I got signed to 2 record deals. I toured pretty much the whole world. I mean, a lot of the world. And it was so much fun. Until drugs and alcohol and all of that became like a really big part of it, all of that. It was impossible for me to DJ sober. And then a lot came with that. And I really just had to make some serious decisions. A lot of my friends were dying. I was at a lot of funerals, and I had a couple close calls and decided to get out of the business. And that's when I started Pizza Girl.
So that was your very first cooking venture after DJing, or
Yeah.
were there some failures before that?
I mean, I've had a lot of failures within Pizza Girl, I would say, but they all lead you to where you need to be, right? So I've learned to love my failures. They really like have made me who I am. Like I think maybe because I was in movies and did some reality shows, like now I can walk into, a board meeting like I just did and like talk to everybody and make everybody have a good time and not be nervous. And you know what I mean? So I think every single thing I've ever done in my life has led to this right now, and being able to now provide the best pizza and kind of pizza girl turnkey operation for businesses, event spaces and homes all over the country. So it's very exciting.
And how long ago was that? When did Pizza Girl launch?
About 8 years ago, 7 years ago.
And what was your thought behind it? Was it like what birthed Pizza Girl?
So I tried originally to go back and work with my dad and his business. I was like, let me help you, let's take your business into the future. I was also really good with social media and like rallying people for a cause and all kinds of things like that. So I was like, let me take my talents and yours and put them together and like help you grow D'Amore's. And I was going to do all the things that I did for Pizza Girl for D'Amore's, but like, family business is tough. Everybody has something to say, and it caused a lot of problems. So Pizza Girl almost actually started as an FU to the family business. It was kind of like, okay, you don't believe me? Watch what I'm going to do. And there you go. And I was actually just saying this on another podcast that I was on. But if you ever watch Shark Tank, Barbara
Cochran, yeah.
Cochran, she had just said, I love an entrepreneur with an axe to grind, with some daddy issues, whatever, like trying to prove themselves or whatever, because their back is against the wall and nothing is going to stop them. And she's so right. Because now my company is, much larger than my father's. And I have been proving that point for the past 7 years, but now it's truly just a love of mine and not,
And what exactly is Pizza Girl?
So Pizza Girl has transformed many times, and I think that's like the case for a lot of companies. You kind of start in one direction, and then all these things happen, and you pivot and you pivot and you pivot until you really find your niche. And we just found our niche 7 years in, to be honest. We started with pasta sauces that are on the shelves and were on the shelves in supermarkets across the country. Whole Foods, Erewhon, the best supermarkets in the country. And really quickly learned, well, not really quickly, sorry, wasted 5 years on that division. Not wasted, but because the brand was really developing and people started to recognize it. But I was on the Gordon Ramsay show with that product. I came in runner up. That gave us a lot of brand awareness. Then we developed our pizza ovens, our really cool at-home pizza ovens. Then we opened 2 brick and mortars thinking that we're going to have pizza windows all over. And through all of that, we realized that our niche is providing so we started vacuum sealing our pizzas in one of our restaurants during the fires that we recently had here in LA, so that we could help as many people as possible and just donate. I think we donated over like 10,000 pizzas to people in need. And I had to figure out a way to get them there hot, sealed, like quality, and not, you put it, no matter how good a pizza is, you put it in a pizza box and it's sitting somewhere, it's going to get cold. And I'm a perfectionist.
I like cold pizza.
Sure, but a good pizza tastes good cold. You're totally right about that.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get something better to people and like figure out a solution, because there's so many venues that just can't do pizza right at all. And so we had these ovens, and then all I had to do was get a freezer. And then I gave them a bunch of these vacuum sealed pizzas in all these different organizations. And they're calling and they're like, this is the best thing ever. The pizza fits perfectly in the oven. It's cooked in 5 minutes. You put it in your cute pink Pizza Girl box, and it's like eating it out of a restaurant. And now we're in about 30 different hotels, event spaces. We're in the Paramount lot. We just got the W Hotel, and it's just growing like crazy. The Mondrian, and all these companies they have Pizza Girl on their on their lots and locations. So it's great.
And your recipes and were based on working in your dad's shop kind of thing, or
Totally. Just my history of knowing sauces and cheeses and, you know, the right doughs and, you know, the flour and all of that. Absolutely. My history, my childhood, everything.
and you made your own sauce too?
Yep. Made my own
Okay.
sauce, made everything. And now we are vacuum sealing our pizzas, and they will be available direct to consumer, hopefully in the fall. But right now they're in businesses all over LA and growing outside of LA.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask because I saw your website. I didn't know if I could order them and have them delivered. I'm in the DC area right now, unfortunately. If I was in the LA area, I would have definitely. I want to try your pizza.
You know what's crazy is that we just started shipping them to New York to like my friends in New York, just so that they could like be our test subjects, and they're like, they are freaking phenomenal. So we're getting there. We're very close.
Okay.
Wait. So if I want to eat one of your pizzas, what do I do? How do I do it? I'm
Right now
pathetic
you have
here.
to be in LA to eat one of the pizzas.
I'm in LA.
Oh, you
I'm
are?
in LA. Yeah.
Oh, you can just go to Ziggy on Sunset. We're on the Sunset Strip at the Ziggy Hotel. There's a Pizza Girl restaurant.
Oh, so there is a brick and mortars now.
Yep. There's two.
Ah,
Well, there was two. Now there's one on Sunset, and we've pivoted. We're not opening thousands everywhere at the moment. We might at a certain point, but right now we are solely focused on the vacuum sealed pizzas. But we have our flagship store that you can always come into anytime and try it out.
and how do you get the vacuum seal? It's on your website or like on?
Yeah, it's on our website right now. There's just like there's like a secret, you know, hidden link right now because we're just testing everything, but it's just for like some locals in LA right now, but the feedback has been insane, and by fall you will be able to get these in home. So you'll be able to have your own, basically your own Pizza Girl catering turnkey operation at home, because you'll have my oven, you know, you'll have my subscription to my pizzas, the cutters, the paddles, the peels. We give you all of the tools. And then you have the kids over after, you know, soccer, this, that, any sort of graduation, or just a Tuesday night. And you can pop in one of these pizzas, and in 5 minutes, it tastes exactly like it does in my brick and mortar.
Nice. Are you gonna? Do you already have, or have you done food trucks with your pizzas too?
Oh yeah, we've done all kinds. We've done everything, you know.
Yeah.
But I think this is the better way, because for me, my audience is nationwide, and I've been trying to figure out how to get it across the country to everybody in every home in America, and this is how. So.
And are you still selling your sauce too, or you're done with the sauce?
So we have closed down the sauce division. It was really heartbreaking and very hard for me to do. But I think most people who have done a CPG product in supermarkets understand that when you have a tight margin on your product, with the, like, we're sold and we did great and everybody loved it, and we were in all the supermarkets. We had an easy time getting in, all of that. It was just that the distributors, they take a huge portion of your money, and you would think you're getting a check for $20,000 and it's really like two. And you're like, how is this possible? And then you have to hire almost like just a very specialized accountant that understands these chargebacks and all these things. So now, not only are you not making that margin, but now you're hiring somebody else to try to claw back little bits, and now you're paying that person. And I realized very quickly that this is why people don't do organic, right? So if you look at Rayo's, if you look at Carbone, all these other big sauce companies, they're not organic, and they're not organic for a reason, but I wasn't willing to compromise. So the conversation was, do you want to go not organic, or do you want to shut it down because you're losing money? And I was like, well, what I'd like to do is build a facility and make it myself, so we can cut out the middleman. And now with our whole division of delivering these pizzas to venues all over, we're developing our own trucking, our own facility to make everything. So eventually we'll be able to come back with the sauce in a way where it's actually sustainable, and I don't have to, abandon my values in quality.
Nice.
Yeah. And by like not organic, do you mean that like those sauces just have a lot of like additives?
Sometimes, but no, that they're just not organic ingredients, like certified organic ingredients. There's still like less ingredients, which is good, but when you get an organic, certified tomato versus not, it's way more expensive. When you get, an organic, certified, strip of basil, versus a regular piece of basil, you can get it from anywhere and it's just so much cheaper. So it's hard. It meant a lot to me to not all of a sudden just remove the organic symbol to all my customers. So it was hard.
Yeah. So, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, and we could cut out part of this too, is we were at an event together. I don't think I said hello to you. I was, in the back of the room. I think you were in the front of the room at Andy Buckley's house, when Eitan Chatayat spoke, "I'm That Jew." The guy, and I found you online not because of pizza, but you were very outspoken, in support of Israel and Jews and what I think is common sense, and I was just so blown away and impressed, and that's kind of why you've been on my radar since that.
Yeah.
And it's always a concern of mine. You know, Actually, this whole social media thing is always a bizarre thing for me, especially in medicine. How much do I talk about being a Jew and being pro-Israel, and you starting a business? It struck me and still strikes me as courageous and impressive, and I'm curious what your take on. And you're not Jewish, which is even more impressive. And I, love to hear you talk about it a little bit if you're willing.
Of course I'm willing, and you don't need to cut anything out. I just found it all to be absurd. And I've literally, I went from, I was like, how does this fall into like an area of like, I am no longer, like, how did it become, I'm trying to think of the right thing to say here because
An issue, right? How did it become an issue?
Right. Like, how did it become where my neighbors and my friends and everybody, like, I grew up in LA. All my friends are Jewish. You know what I mean? Like, come on. So all of a sudden they're calling me crying because they're scared and they're taking their mezuzahs off and they don't know if they can wear their necklaces. And I'm just like, what? Like, it blew my mind. And I think that also for me, I come from a privileged place where, I've never been discriminated against because of my religion, because of my, background or anything. And I know that it exists, but I just hadn't seen it happen to the Jewish community the way that I had heard that it did many, many, many years ago. And, there was only two subjects I ever even remember learning about in school, and that was the subject of a little girl named Anne Frank and slavery. And both of those jolted me to my core to where I would have dreams about them and how I would have, like, what I would have done during that time. Like, I would have tried to save everybody. And it just really, like, deep within my soul shook me. And, I was very early on dating a man from Israel, and he didn't like try to like get me or educate me or like get me to say, he never tried to get me to say anything. You know what I mean? Like, I just did that completely on my own because I was just like, what? Like, he lost friends at the Nova Music Festival, good friends, like family friends who were murdered. And then I would see people posting about somebody that they lost, and it would be like obliterated with hate. And I was just blown away by that. I was like, how is that even possible that people can be mean to somebody who is struggling right now and who lost somebody, and how, women were just assaulted as they were, and people were saying the things they were saying. I was just not going to stand for it. And I also, being a woman with daughters, I was just not going to. And people were like, go educate yourself. Go educate yourself. Okay. So I flew to Israel and I educated myself. And I met with everybody from survivors to, hostage families who were, while their children were still hostage. I met with, soldiers who were in the hospital, and I was there while people were being helicoptered in. Like,
Wow.
it was insane. And I was on, the border of, Gaza and Syria and everywhere. And I went and saw it for myself. And I just remember the first time I walked through, one of the, I'm going to say this wrong probably, but the kibbutzines, is that how you say it? The kibbutz that
Kibbutzim,
were,
yeah, the kibbutz, yeah.
completely just destroyed, and everybody was murdered. Let's be frank. And I stood there and I'm seeing just the destruction, and I just started bawling, crying, and I was so angry. I grabbed my phone again and I was like, you guys are, how dare you be cruel to these people that are suffering in this way? Like, who the F do you think you are? And that post then went viral, and it just was like this never ending thing that kind of really sucked me in a way that I did have investors and people pull me aside and say, do you know what you're doing? This is bad news. And I was like, too bad, because I would rather lose that than hide and lie about the truth of this. That doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
kind of just got over it and kind of were like, okay, do you. It took a while, people were scared, but I think when you come from a place of love, there's a lot of people on both sides, all sides of it, that come from a place of hate, come from whataboutism and only care about their side and this and that. And I think if you come from a place of love and you're like, these people deserve love and these people deserve love, and we got to find a way to do it. I don't think, there will always be crazy people, but the crazy people aren't buying my product anyway. I feel like there's so many people out there, and you know how many people don't even know much about this? We were so absorbed and engulfed in all of it. And I had a few really, really big people reach out to me and say, you do you. Don't ever back down from what you believe in, and the right people will support, and they're absolutely right. I'm sure people maybe didn't come by or, didn't try my pizza because of it, but it didn't ruin my business by any means.
Do you think it potentially slowed you down or actually helped you a little bit? Because it seemed like for a while you were viral.
Yeah.
Like crazy. At least you kept showing up on my feeds all the time.
Totally. And you know what, for me, I did have an interesting, looking back now, I had a really hard time trying to go back to my life. It was hard because when I did go, oh my God, I also have to post about my company, and I also have to post about, whatever else is going on in my life and my world. And when I did get some pushback from the people that were following me because of the war and everything. So they were like, you really shouldn't post about your business and also post about one of the hostages. And I'm like, hold on. Do you care about me? Do you want me to have my life as well? Do you know what I mean? It was a weird dynamic where I started getting very lost in it all. And then when I got pregnant is really when I just needed to focus on my family, and always stand up for what I believe in. I teach my daughters to stand up for what they believe in, but also I'm not just I didn't do this for that to be my job. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of voices that you see that are still commenting on every single thing, and it became their job, and they go to CNN and they go here and they go there and they debate. That was never why I did this.
Right.
I did it because it was right to do.
Yeah.
And if anything happened tomorrow, I would speak up on that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not looking for it in order to stay relevant in that world, and thank you for still caring about me without my pink hair. And but it's amazing. I mean, I was able to I was in the president of Israel's home. I met with I it's interesting how like your little voice can be so powerful. Uh and not so little, and it can actually touch lives and change lives, and that I know, and I will know forever. And I will never be scared to speak up for what is right, but I also won't just speak up for the reason for the purpose of being relevant, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it meant a lot to me, and to millions of Jews that you were an ally, because so many, very few people, that I know who aren't Jewish, very few have ever asked me, "Hey, how you doing?" or anything like that. So you being a strong voice, just meant so much.
Well, hey, how you doing?
Thanks. Hanging in. But it is scary times. Your husband or boyfriend is Israeli, right?
Yeah, husband now. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got married, and yeah, now we have a beautiful little baby. And now, I have a baby, an Israeli baby. Like, I'm not gonna let anything happen to anybody, like that I can control. And um whatever's in my ability to speak out, I will always do that. And there's good and bad in every department, in every culture and every thing. And I just think that people need to give people respect and not just, you know, follow these algorithms. And that people are getting really lost in hate, because it's like so easy to hate and to get lost in a channel and an algorithm. And you can hide, you can be a keyboard warrior and hide behind it. And in person, people were asking me, they're like, you get so much hate, how do you deal with all the hate? And I'm like, what hate? Like, I walk down the street and people are like hugging me. The amount of women that have given me a hug since I came out and spoke like that is must have been thousands. I mean, I can't
Mm,
even tell you how many hugs I've gotten since then. And it's been nothing but love. And the
that's
hate
great.
is a bunch of bots online. Like, I think I got one middle finger at a rally in Canada one time, but really it has not been that um aggressive. I'm also not going to um you know rallies and fighting with people.
Right.
Like, I think that there's people that are looking for a fight. I'm not
Yeah.
looking for a fight. I just want to speak up for what's right.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? So you're gonna have to make like a hummus flavored pizza, probably, right?
Yeah, well, now I have my little pizza bagel, my little baby over there. So, um, yeah, I mean, she loves hummus. She already tried it. And I did. I called it hummus. No, my
Right.
husband and I are always going back and forth about all of it. But yeah, she's yeah, we do Shabbat dinner, which has been such a really awesome experience for me. Because I didn't grow up with tradition and sitting around a dinner table and turning off your phones. And not that I follow perfectly by any means, but I love the tradition. Um, and yeah, I'm honored to be invited to so many Shabbat dinners now. I never was before, though. Where were you guys, man?
Yeah. Well, you're invited to our Shabbat dinner.
To be fair to Dr. Cohen, he does invite a lot of people to his Shabbat dinners. He's always very welcoming. So
We love Shabbat dinner. Exactly. So,
yeah.
one of my daughters is a big, actually, all of my daughters are into food. I have three daughters. They're all very much into food, but one of them really likes pizza. But we have like a back and forth different kind of pizza that we like. Like, I like old school New York style pizza
Same.
by the slice, whereas my daughter likes, the gourmet, with the big fluffy, yeah. What what do you personally like?
I personally like what you like. I like East Coast style, thin crust. And yeah, that's my favorite. And then, wood fire's good too. It's great, but I just grew up on the East Coast brick oven pizza. So
Yeah.
that's my go-to for sure.
And what is it when you go and you order an entire, what do you call it?
A pie? I mean,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
a pie. Yeah.
Because on the West Coast, they don't call it a pie.
What do they call it?
My wife makes fun of me. I'm like, I'll have a pie, a pie. She calls it a pizza. She's like, a pie is a pastry or a cake. Because my wife grew up in LA.
Yeah, I guess so. My family's from Boston, so maybe like I picked that up from that, or I don't know. But yeah, we just call it a pie, like a full pie. Say full
It's totally a pie. Exactly. Yeah. What about you, Lauren? What pizza do you like?
Well, I grew up calling it a pie too because my parents are from New York and they call sauce gravy and all that stuff. So I like a classic slice of cheese. Yeah. Margarita's nice. A grandma slice is nice if you're in New York. I don't know if you guys have had that.
Grandma?
It's like a square.
We call it a Sicilian. A Sicilian slice.
No, it's like thinner. It's like a little bit different.
I know what you mean. Thin. We used to do a Sicilian at my dad's. That was really good. It was thick, square, but good. Yeah.
And are your pizzas multiple different kinds, or right now you have one standard?
So right now we have one style, meaning like the thin crust East Coast kind of style, but we have multiple different toppings that you can have. A margarita and a 3-meat pizza and a veggie that we call the Malibu because it has some like funky LA kind of yummy veggies on there. And then we have the Bella Bianca, named after my daughter, my favorite pizza growing up.
What is that?
It's the what people would call a white pizza with no red sauce, but it's spinach sauteed in garlic and olive oil with red roasted bell peppers and spinach and ricotta and mozzarella. It's so good.
Nice. Have you tried a vegan kind? It's not really great.
We have an option. We have a vegan option and we have a gluten-free option, but obviously those are not my favorite.
Yeah. And the truth is, even though I try to be plant-based, when it comes to pizza, I'm not plant-based.
That's okay. That's okay. Just be clean in your meats and things that you eat, right? Like I don't mind meat and I don't mind any of that. I just don't want preservatives and additives and poorly raised meats and things.
So do you watch or any shows, anything at all, or really you're just full on?
So honestly, my husband laughs because the only one that we had one kind of date night, honestly, is in the past 6 months. And what did we do? We watched the Game of Thrones or prequel. What's it called?
The Night of Seven Kingdoms.
That's
is that it?
Called?
The Night of Seven Kingdoms? No.
No, that's not what it's called. What's it called?
Oh, the
dragons.
Thank
you.
Dragon ones? Yes. Yes. And so we watched that, which is like the only show like that I will watch for some reason. And then we had cereal on the couch, which we tell the kids not to do. And it was hilarious. But it was fun. But yeah, so I watched that show. And then I have a guilty pleasure here and there when I need to turn off my brain. Like a Love Island or one of those,
Love Island. That's my 2 older daughters are watching Love Island, but that's
so ridiculous. But now I read a lot. I prefer to read.
Do you have any media plans with Pizza Girl?
I've done a few things with Pizza Girl. At this point, I'm so focused right now that it's like I can't even get my head out from underneath all of these venues that we're popping up in right now. So it's like, if the right opportunity came my way, I'm always open, but I'm not seeking it out. I'm not going and looking for that right now. But yeah, I feel like, it's exciting. So as Pizza Girl grows, you never know what's going to happen. So
nice. Yeah. Have you, I have one final question that Lauren, you may also, but, have you, one thing I like to talk about, I run the Cedars-Sinai pre-med program. So have you yourself had mentors or people helping you along the way in this? And do you yourself mentor at all?
Yes, I love that question. It did just make me think of, do you know Dr. Perot?
Yeah, yeah.
So he just put a pizza girl station in his office.
Wow, Lawrence Piro. Yeah, he's an oncologist.
Yep, Lawrence Row.
Hmm.
So it's so funny because I had dinner with him and I told him about my new Pizza Girl program, and he was like, "Let's, come have a meeting at the office." And they're affiliated through Cedars. So there was a Cedars guy there, and like they just launched their Pizza Girl program, and they've already reordered, sold out like that. So it's pretty exciting.
Wow,
That's for all their staff members and employees and their hospital guests. So pretty cool that like everybody is building, and they even made like a whole pink wall, and like it's so cute.
oh,
So
that's really cool. How do you know him?
I we met at a dinner, and then I just
Ah,
started talking about my brand, and he was like, "Oh my god," it's like, "This sounds so cool." And then I was like, and literally we texted the next day, and then the week after I was in there with my ovens and my pizzas doing a demo for him, and now he has his own Pizza Girl like shop in his office.
that's pretty amazing. I
Yeah,
guess I got to go over there.
yeah, go check it out.
Nice. So you consider him a mentor to some degree, or?
I mean, no, I mean, so now I will. You said Cedars, so I thought about,
Ah,
he knows him, so I wanted to bring that up. But mentor wise, I would say I have some pretty amazing people on my team, like Gary Barber, for instance. He is the head of Spyglass. And then
ah,
there's Brad Slater, who is a huge agent at William Morris, who has been by my side throughout, a lot in the past 2 years. And mentors not fully in the food space, which is interesting, but more in entrepreneurship and business. And, these guys invest in a lot of other products. So, um, yeah, they have definitely been ears that I call upon. And I definitely, I have two business partners, Rebecca and Aaron, who've been with me since basically the beginning. Um, and, they came from very different backgrounds as well. So, you know, um, Gordon Ramsay was definitely a mentor, and, is still cool whenever I reach out, which is awesome. And I've been to a bunch of his restaurants now, which is fun. And, so there's inspiration, and then there's mentors in the business world, but not specifically like a food entrepreneur mentor. Um, and then do I mentor other people? Yes, that's been something that I've been called upon to do, and I try to do it to the best of my ability. Lots of like young food brands come to me and ask for help, and I kind of mentor and guide them, and we'll sit on different boards if needed and stuff like that. So yeah,
that's really cool. That's
yeah.
really cool.
That's fantastic. That was going to be my last question. You're amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
This was great, and I just realized we're all wearing stripes for what we're all striped today. I don't
We
know. It must mean something. Exactly.
All
Exactly.
right. Well, cool.
I really appreciate this. Thanks for taking the time and speaking so candidly. This was great.
Absolutely.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening to Gross Anatomy, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you can check out more episodes on the evolving sights, smells, and sounds of medicine. Gross Anatomy is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.